Oh, thank God, she's back. It's a little ironic to name the new Hulk comic The Immortal Hulk right after he just died for the upteenth time. But it's nice to have Banner back after so long. Now that he's getting his second and/or fifth wind, let's take a trip back to the Hulk's heyday when the mainstream still cared. He was fresh off of a failed movie 2 years prior and right on track for another one in 3 years' time. This was the awkward in-between phase where the Hulk was evolving past being the time traveler's wife's husband, but before he became inferior Will Graham. I present to you, Hulk, Opposite Construction. A game that is almost universally praised by comic fans and normal people alike. What can I say, this game's awesome. You can do elbow drops off skyscrapers. You can make a car into boxing gloves, buy it. What do you want? Look at this. You need convincing after seeing this? Alright, that makes for a rather unsatisfying review. I'll go into more detail. So, this game is an indirect sequel to that last game. This time around, we get a story where Banner's gamma energy has been stolen by military folks, a bunch of gamma supervillains are created with his power, and he has to steal inordinate amounts of technology to build a machine to help get himself under control, with the help of his friend, Ponytail Man. Oh no, I'm a hypocrite now. We have these two separate plots building throughout the story. The one where Emily Blonkers gets infected with leftover gamma tsunami and mutates into Doomsday. I mean Abomination.
What's happening to you?
Nothing. I suggest you concern yourself with the problem of Banner, unless you want my headache to become your headache.
It's Ron Perlman! Ultimate Destruction also features the plot more directly related to Banner and his bro Samson, where a new split personality manifests in Bruce's subconscious called the Joker. I mean the Devil Hulk. Coincidentally, Devil Hulk also believes that marriage can only be between a man and a woman, not a Spider-Man and a woman. Bruce fears for the continuity and runs around stealing stuff to build an HTC Vive to allow him to confront his inner demon and symbolically punch the shit out of it. This intercuts with sequences of Blonsky being concerned about his own inner voice begging him to get more power! After a bunch of run-ins that end in a stalemate, Bruce eventually outs Blonsky as the abominable snowman to the US military, who are persistently annoying. Once they begin to annoy Blonsky as much as they annoy Banner, he gives in to his urges and lusts for more power! And finds his dead wife. Wait, what? Okay, so his pregnant wife had a terminal illness that they tried to cure with gamma radiation. And all it did was turn her into one of my friend Jeremiah's drawings on his alternate Twitter account. Here's a tip for you kids who want to get into writing games and movies someday from your old pal Xavier. It's easier to get your audience emotionally invested in something if they know it exists for more than 30 seconds. Why have all these cutscenes of Emil going nuts over more power when his wife is sick and dying? Maybe show some cutscenes early on of him as like a happy family man. Then his wife gets sick and he finds her in the hospital. Maybe it was in all those files that no one reads. But come on, this is basic stuff. You want to make a tragic villain, don't half-ass it so bad. I mean, it's not like there's anything else really going on in the story. It's just a big shopping list of fictional technology getting routinely poached from Radio Shack in the same two locations over and over. Banner is only a character in cutscenes and he's boring as Mark Ruffalo's Facebook posts about fracking. So much complaining about fracking! Anyway, you'd think these two plotlines would converge and Devil Hulk would somehow be related to Abomination, but nope! You smash at the Devil at about the 90% mark of the game, and then go fight Abomination, who is now hilariously big. Yowza! That's the biggest and most powerful enemy I've ever faced! What would Senpai Superman do? I know. I'll lead him to the most highly populated area on the map and confront him there. Alright, Blonzenby, I can't quite take you in a fight mano a mano, so how about we settle our differences with a civilian casualties contest? I'll start! God damn it, it looks like he's winning over there. I can't even do this right. Well, even after he got all that more power, he still gets his scaly butt whooped before he can blow up the local dam.
Is this a goddamn?
Then the game just stops. Banner goes, well, better luck next time on that cure, I guess, and then runs into the woods and there aren't even credits. That's a little weird and abrupt. I guess that was pretty much what I expected from this game's story. It's just a bunch of underdeveloped ideas loosely slapped together in order to keep the player moving. There wasn't any kind of satisfying resolution or interesting character moments. It was just, well, I guess it needs a story too. Why did I spend so much time talking about this game's story, you may ask? Well, while the story may just be a lame means to an end to get from one explosion-filled fetch quest to the next, no one else has really talked about it. What do you want from me? To talk about the gameplay? That thing everyone and their mom has raved about for 13 years? The thing we already know is awesome, so talking about it would just be redundant? Okay. Alright, think of some amazing feat of physicality or some badass fight move you've seen the Hulk do once. That'll be 10,000 smash points, but you can do it. You got your basic combat with light and strong attacks, but you can grab enemies and bounce on them like a clever comic-related simile. The player can also use cars to make boxing gloves, hit things with a wrecking ball, use a smashed up bus as a surfboard to ride through the streets like Rad Eddie, and this, and this. Ooh, and this too. Oh, and that. The combat feels great. Not too slow, not too fast. Just the right amount of powerful. While the last game had you on a pretty tight leash with linearity, this one lets you roam around between two open world maps that both get a little tiresome after a while, and make you just wish there was a third one to liven it up a bit. Why do these collectibles say they're comic books when they're just a green coin with a letter C on it? Why not make it like a comic book? Combat-wise, you can do a lot, and you really feel like a badass for the first 5 minutes of the game. Then the cold snap of reality sets in that you're not the strongest one there is, and your girlfriend's dad will never like you no matter how hard you try. For all your incredible abilities, you're still kind of a weak-ass loser, and the hordes of military helicopters, tanks, robots, missile launchers are still a very real threat. I don't often hear people bring it up, but this game is hard. I don't consider myself the best in the world at video games, but I can handle some challenge here and there. This game, however, has been one of the most aggravating I've played, and the review took longer to come out because I wanted to beat it without changing the difficulty or using cheats. Am I just bad? Is anyone else with me on this, or do I just gotta get good? Don't mind me, I'm just a normal walking truck with huge green feet sticking out the bottom. Evening, officer, nothing to see here, normal truck, just doing normal truck stuff. There are times when I even think the game is being so unclear about instructions that it adds extra difficulty. Here's an example, and let me know if you guys struggled with this too. You gotta chase down this helicopter and steal a reactor from it after having knocked it out of the sky. It flies way higher than you can jump, it moves way faster than you can traverse the level, and it's protected by this annoying fighter jet that keeps blasting you. I chase him to this spot where the cutscene activates, and then it flies off while playing dialogue like,
We shook him. That was too easy.
and I'm standing there on this roof staring at my failure thinking this was a game over cutscene, which they have a few of in the game. Then it goes on for a little longer for whatever reason before the level actually stops, so I try everything I can, riding the jet to get closer to the helicopter, running past it and trying to cut it off at the pass, or even throwing objects at it, which always hit the walls because it pulls so many quick turns around corners. Then I actually manage to hit it with something, but it does no damage. I'm completely at a loss here until I look up a playthrough online. This cutscene isn't a game over thing, it's just a cutscene to show that it stopped for some reason. Then the camera angling back at yourself and the horde of enemies smacking you around are just like a trick. You can run past them and it's still going, even getting slower and flying lower so you can take it out. Why the hell was this cutscene here? All it did was fucking confuse me. Oh boy, I can't wait for all the comments like this one. Anyway, I think a lot of missions I struggled with most were based on the need for more mobility. You can move around pretty easily in this game, but not quite well enough to be put under strict time limits in chase sequences. That's more Spider-Man's deal. Even with all the upgrades to Hulk's movement, I still found myself cutting it really close with these races. Another thing that got on my nerves was how hard this game was on my hands. In order to make any headway at anything, you gotta hold down buttons and charge up attacks and jumps. Holding down buttons so frequently and for so long both makes it feel like I'm wearing out the controller and starting to hurt my thumbs. The only real solution is to play this game while wearing a pair of Hulk hands. The foam padding is ergonomically designed for maximum comfort. Ironically, I think some of the easiest stuff in the game is the bosses. There aren't many of them and they're pretty easy to smash. You got your first fight with Abomination, which is pretty one-sided. This big robot isn't so bad as long as you lame it out and let your health regenerate a lot. And then you got Mercy. You know, I remember her from the recent Thunderbolts comic. She's actually a pretty cool character. I don't know why they don't use her for more stuff. And there's my favorite boss in the game, this smaller robot who you can horribly, horribly abuse with a truck. Some of the ones I like best in the game are when you fight an enemy that's 10 times your size. I've always thought that sort of matchup in any game was cool. I love fighting kaiju-sized enemies as a small character. Devil Hulk and the final battle with Abomination are both especially neato. Cinematic parallels. Something I appreciate about this game is how you can enter a code to play as Abomination, and just like that last game, you can play as Joe Fixit Hulk, who's fully voiced and has unique dialogue during combat.
Spit or swallow? Blood, I mean. See it, kids. Leaded or unleaded?
In the last game, his dialogue was a little more situational and felt like it took more time to add in, while here it's just a lot of generic lines during combat. Still pretty cool though, especially since they got the same voice actor who played Fixit in the animated series. I think I may be in a minority when I say that I actually kind of enjoyed playing as Bruce Banner. And not as like a goofy unlock, I mean just for real gameplay. The stealth sequences help to keep it feeling fresh, as opposed to this one where you're the Hulk 100% of the time and the constant smashing gets a little monotonous. Looking back, I see why this game is so loved by those who played it back in the day. Radical Entertainment really nailed it with the gameplay, but there are a few things I think they could have improved on. Imagine how much better this game could have been if it just had a little bit more engaging of a story, more bosses, and more gameplay variety. Maybe that just comes down to my personal preference though. Repetition loses my attention really easily, and I found myself starting to wish there was more I could do while playing this one. But while I think it still had areas to work on, I get why so many people view it fondly. There are a lot of really ambitious and cool ideas here, and I'm very excited to see how they were implemented and improved upon in Prototype. Wait a minute. You mean these developers didn't make the 2008 game? Oh. Oh no! Oh god, no!